Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Psalms chapter 145, verses 3 and 7 through 9. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. Yahweh is gracious, and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Yah's been good to me.
Don't you know that
God's been good to me?
Oh,
through sickness and pain.
Oh yeah,
God's been good to me. He's been good.
He's been good.
He's been good. He's been good.
Well, all on my job, Yah's been good to me. Don't you know that
God's been good to me?
Oh,
all on my job.
Oh yeah,
God's been good to me. He's been good.
He's been good.
He's been good.
He's been good to me. All of my life,
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have favorite love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. Now, Job chapter 1 and verse 6 says, Now there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. What's interesting when we read this, Yahweh is separating the rest of his sons from Satan. He says, the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also. Now, this lets you know that he's supposed to be a son. But there's a separation, because if there was just sons, why did Lucifer have to be mentioned separately? Job chapter 2 and verse 1 says, Again, there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them to present himself before Yahweh. So he has the authority, the ability to show up as the rest of the sons. But there's something different in how he operates. See, a lot of times we want mention, because if our name is mentioned, then it seems as if we must be an important character in that writing. The problem is the important character is the one who does evil. See, there's no other names of sons mentioned, because all those sons are walking in the same spirit. The one who then gets mentioned is the one who walks amongst the sons, but carries a different spirit. This is my issue when you have all of these extra books that gives you listings of all these angels. Why do you need to know their name? There's only a few that you need to know. He doesn't mention any of these. Now, in both of these instances, the sons of Elohim is referring to angels. But in Romans 8, verse 14, it states that for as many as are led by the Spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. Now, in this instance, the writing starts to refer not to angels, but unto men. But even when we deal with angels, when it says the sons of Elohim came, it separated them from Satan. So then it does matter what spirit we walk in. We tend to think, and you'll go out on the internet and you'll see all of these videos posted about being the children of Israel and this tribe and this tribe. You can be of the tribe of Judah and still be walking in the spirit of Satan. You can be of the tribe of Benjamin and still walk in the spirit of lying and deception. We think that one thing erases the other. No, it does not. You're still an Israelite. You're still of the tribe that you are from, but what spirit do you walk in? Are you walking in the spirit of anger, wrath, any of those things? You can still be an Israelite and still do that. But there's a separation here. It says, for as many as are led by the Spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. Let's begin today's sermon in Romans chapter 8, and we're going to start that at verse 1. Romans chapter 8, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Yahshua, the Mashiach, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
These are very easy words to be said. It's a little different to walk in that. Because the flesh, we think about all our organs. We think about the heart. These are the things that you hear that are important. But the biggest organ on your body is your skin, your flesh. It is the one that we don't give any thought to, but it covers your entire skeletal structure. Every day, a part of it is dying and a new part regrows. So when he starts referring to spiritually, I die daily. No, physically, you do die daily. A layer of skin is coming off, a new layer is being formed. But how much of the operation do we allow to die? Go ahead.
For the law of the Spirit of life in the Mashiach Yahshua has made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Elohim sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
For the law of the Spirit of life in the Mashiach Yahshua have made me free from the law of sin and death. The law of sin and death, whenever there was a sin, something had to die. An animal had to be sacrificed, and his blood had to be shed to make atonement. So now that is the law of sin and death. Go ahead.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Now, so those are two different mindsets. Okay? Now, has absolutely nothing to do with your tribal breakdown here. So I don't care what banner or tribal flag you flying. It has absolutely nothing to do with this part right here. See, your tribal banner that hangs behind you, you had absolutely nothing to do with that. That all depends on where he directed your father. This part right here, you have a lot to do with. And you still ain't fully in control of that, because certain things can be presented to you that were out of your control and affect the spirit that you walk in. Go ahead.
Because the carnal mind is enemy against Elohim. For it is not subject to the law of Elohim, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Elohim.
And it's interesting. The deeper we get in the flesh, the more we believe that outward things are going to please Elohim. We think that if we have this outward display of love, that it is love. And then we are getting deeper in the flesh, and he's not pleased by any of that. Go ahead.
But you are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of Elohim dwell in you. Now if any man have not the spirit of the Mashiach, he is none of his. And if the Mashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness.
Now, this is the part that the adversary fights. He fights to make sure that your spirit does not become one with Yahweh and Yeshua. This is what he's fighting. And he'll be willing to give you anything that helps this cause. Go ahead.
But if the spirit of him that is raised up Yeshua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up the Mashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwells in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live.
So then there is a struggle inside of us that we have to constantly know that we're in this battle to make sure that the flesh does not direct all of our dealings. Go ahead.
For as many as are led by the spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim.
Now, this right here can get exceptionally interesting. For as many as are led by the spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. Here's where it gets interesting. The spirit may lead one individual that way. That's still a son of Elohim. The spirit may lead another individual that way. That is still a son of Elohim. Now, do you count only the sons if they walk in the same direction you're walking in? Wait a minute, but he gave that son a different job. It's just led by the spirit. The spirit may not always be going in the same direction for the same job. He said, no, I need you to go that way, and I need you to go that way. They are both sons and are being led by the spirit. Go ahead.
For you have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Elohim, and joint heirs with the Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So
if we are heirs, heirs have an inheritance. I mean, it's in the word inheritance, heir. Okay, so if you are an heir, you have an inheritance, but what are you inheriting? Verse 16, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Elohim and joint heirs with the Mashiach. Okay, so then we have an inheritance of good things if we walk in that spirit. But wait a minute. If that's the case, then there can be an evil inheritance as well. Go ahead.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
And that's what we want. We want all the suffering right now to go away. We want any problems that we have, we want them to go away. But it says the glory which shall be revealed in us. Now, see, what happens is when the glory is revealed, those payments are going to go along the same lines of that suffering. Now, Yeshua got the highest seat. Ain't nobody suffered more than him. Now, we spend most of our time trying to avoid every bit of suffering. Now, when them seats are arranged, you're going to have some people that have some problems with where they sitting.
Well, I don't understand what I'm saying. I serve more than that individual right there.
Yeah, but you didn't suffer nothing. Matter of fact, every time suffering came, you ran out the door. Matter of fact, you asked for another appointment every time something got difficult. Then we want to know why we sitting way back here. I can't even see Yahshua. These are nosebleed seats. Go ahead.
For the earnest expectation of the creature waits for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim.
Uh-huh.
For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Elohim.
You know, brother, I began to figure out something last week. You used to hear those old folks when something happened bad in their life and they said, glory be to God. And I was like, something wrong with this old man. This man is crazy as hell. This man here going through, a trial and he praising God. But then I thought back, every time I went through hell, I end up getting something that came out of that at the end. I realized that those old folks was realizing they was already looking toward the end. So here comes this trial and tribulation, and everybody saying, woe is you. Oh my goodness. And he like, ooh, boy. Like, what the hell is he happy about? I'm going to get something at the end. I figured out something now. I guess I had to get old. It's something at the end. So instead of walking around moping and crying, woe is me, I'm walking around my hands out. Because I know something coming to me. I don't know what it is. But I know this kind of situation, it comes with a prize at the end. And I look back in that rearview mirror at life, and I find everything that I find powerful and important to me came through turmoil. I never got one of them in flowers and song. There was no soft music. Damn it, wasn't no harp playing. Not one of them. Every last thing that I hold dear to me in that rearview mirror came through some kind of turmoil. Go ahead, priest.
The problem is we don't know what to be happy for. We'll be happy about something that we were able to obtain with our own hands, and not look ahead to say, nah, this is going to be a problem to me in the long run. Verse 22, For we know that the whole creation groans and travails in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man sees, why does he yet hope for it?
There's certain things, when you young and super-bodied, that stuff don't make no sense. It's like, you're going to get a new body. Man, you in your 20s, you don't need no new body. The one you got now is just quite fine. Get a little older and stuff don't, work the way. You put on your left blinker, but the car go right. Now, you know what? That new body sounds nice now. Now, it's different when you read it now. Go ahead.
But if we hope for that we see, not, then do we with patience wait for it. Likewise, the Spirit also helps our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself makes intercessions for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
Uh-huh.
And he that searches the hearts knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because he makes intercessions for the saints according to the will of Elohim.
Right. So then you want to walk as much so that you can get assistance from the Spirit. So that you make your prayers, you pray for whatever that is you praying for, but what you really want is the Spirit to come in and say, no, Yahweh, this is what he wants. This right here is what he needs. Because we are praying for what we know. The Spirit already knows what's around that corner. You don't. See, the Spirit already know, look, there's a prize at the end of this. I know he told you to remove him, but don't take him out. Now, see, that can be confused. Wait a minute. You saying, remove me from this trial, and the Spirit said, don't take him out. Yahweh, remove me every day. Yahweh, take me out of this. And the Spirit come back there. Don't you move him, Yahweh. Don't move him. Because, see, he really want this, but he can only get this if he get here. If you take him out, he got to start over. Yahweh, don't do it. I know you love him, and his cries have come up to your ears. Remove me from this situation. Yahweh, don't take him out. That could seem like your prayers ain't being answered. Sometimes help is strange. Go ahead.
You know, at the end of verse 26, it says, the Spirit itself makes intercessions for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Is the Spirit fighting you while you still trying to get what you want? Like, well, you shut up. You don't know what to pray for.
Hey, man, we wouldn't even know it when we first got it. Half the time, all the stuff that we got that we enjoy now, we fought when the Spirit was trying to give it to us. Mm-hmm. We look at the things that we enjoy. When the Spirit tried to give it to you, you fought tooth and nail against it. I don't want this. Why these people here? Come to figure out when it all goes down, them the very people that help get your half-dead self across the line over there. Right. That's us. That's us. We be the ones, we hit lotto and be arguing, why I gotta count all this damn money? Right. Go ahead, Britt.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Elohim, to them who are the called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
All right, now, if anything is predestined, understand something. It has a path, and nothing is going to alter that path. Now, we can look at those things concerning Yahshua, and we all right. But what about the predestined that's among us? Understand, there was other people that had to be predestined for Yahshua to do what he did. He couldn't be the only one who was destined. When you get down to the prophets, it was told, before you were formed in the womb, I knew you and ordained you a prophet. The destiny of that individual was set. Now, anybody who becomes a part of that individual's life has to deal with their destiny. Because their destiny is not going to change. What may change is you have to get out of their life, but their destiny going to be what it's going to be. Because they was born for that. Go ahead.
Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. What shall we then say to these things? If Elohim be for us, who can be against us? He that spared not his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Who shall lay anything to the charge of Elohim's elect? It is Elohim that justifies.
And this gets confusing because you may look at a situation and think you know what you're looking at, but you don't know the desire of the Spirit in that situation. who shall lay a charge to Elohim's elect? Did Yahshua look out of sorts when he turned over the tables? To some people, that was a madman in the temple. To other people, that was the zeal that he had for Yahweh's house. Now, they all saw the same situation. One group of people perceived it one way. Another group of people perceived it another way. What drives our perception of a situation? Is it our flesh? What drives us to see something in a certain manner? And when it's over, do we ever go back and look? Once Yahweh's revelation has been made, do you ever go back through some of your old sayings and your old writings and look back and say, now how did I get off on this situation? Because at this point, the situation is known. But go back to some of the hard sayings and things that you uttered during that process and try to figure out, how did I get there? What was I feeling when I said this? Go ahead.
Who is he that condemns? It is the Mashiach that died, yea, rather, that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of Elohim, who also makes intercessions for us. Who shall separate us from the love of the Mashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword?
What thing is so powerful that you will walk away from Yahweh? And hey, the disciples swore, hey, Yahshua, hey, I'm your man, 50 grand. I'm down like full flat tire. I'm going to ride with you. When that situation happened, it went just a tad bit different. Go ahead.
As it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. No, in all things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us.
Right. Now, this has become a popular saying. They just don't want to deal with any other stuff that come before it. See, this is what happens when we just take one verse and we're going to put that on the tag on the car. We are more than conquerors. Matter of fact, we don't even put the whole verse. Well, that's all we need right there. We are more than conquerors. So we use this as a step of motivation, but understand there's some things that comes before that. What spirit are you walking in while you're trying to conquer? Go ahead.
You know, Elder, when you look at verse 36, it says, as it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Going on right now to this very day.
As it is written, I've been made to bear the reproach of those that hate you. Those that hate you, the reproach of you has fallen upon me. Yahshua says, like master, so shall happen to his disciples. And if that power was handed directly down from Yahshua to his disciples, then what does that mean? The disciples were representatives of the 12 tribes of Israel. So what does that mean for us? Right. Everybody want to get paid, but don't nobody want to go to work. Everybody want to get a fancy car, but don't nobody want to pay insurance.
You mean insurance goes how much for that?
I thought you said you want a luxury vehicle. Go ahead.
For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in the Mashiach Yahshua, our Adonai.
You know, my elder used to say, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. And this is when they claim everybody go. Ain't that funny? That's us. But when you look at this whole situation of being directed by the Spirit, you have to think about, you know, Israel in our infancy, in the beginning. We're talking about in that wilderness, they were led by this cloud and this fire. So what was happening? They were being directed by the Spirit. Every last one of their steps was ordered by the Spirit. They knew when to move because the cloud and the fire. They didn't have to guess when to move. And the whole time we're being directed by the Spirit, we arguing and complaining the entire time. We have physical embodiment of the Spirit and the direction that it's telling us. I mean, herein lies that thing that everybody want to hear, you know, turn left, my son. Turn right, child. Hell, we had that. And we were still complaining. The clouds start moving, we know, all right, man. All right, come on. Let's start putting it together, because that's been the move. We're still complaining the whole time. We chips off the whole block. Let's go to Luke chapter 1. See, our forefathers couldn't focus on the prize that they were going to get in the end. They could only focus on the current problem and the way it felt. You know, just knowing that we're going to get a check in 2 weeks keeps us going. Because, you know, there's some times, you know, not that first Tuesday, but that second one.
You know what? You know what? Hey, on everything I love, shout look here. I swear for God, they come over here one more time. One more again. I'm trying, hey, bro, hey, I'm up to here. I got to look up just to look up. Hey, I'm trying to tell you. One more again. Let them come over here.
But that was Tuesday. Let me see. Now we got Wednesday, Thursday. Now Thursday, we said, you know what? When I go in the morning, there's going to be a little piece of paper in there. All right, I can make it. All right. Now that done pulled us over, so now we can make it to the next one. But you know we can do that for 40 years straight. The problem is we don't get no little paychecks in the middle of this life walk. Or when we do, we don't recognize them. See, we don't recognize the little bitty checks that we get within the life walk. So we don't understand that, hey, that was your second Tuesday. That's enough to let you make it to the end of the week. Luke chapter 1, and let's read verses 10 through 17.
And the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Adonai standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elizabeth shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Yohanan.
Right. Now, this is in line with what the Spirit wants. Fear not, for your prayer is heard. He probably prayed that prayer 35 years ago. But it was not in the will of the Spirit for that time. See, we want what we want, and we want it right now. And we assume that the Spirit didn't hear the prayer. No, the Spirit heard the prayer. It just wasn't in Yahweh's will to answer that prayer at that time. Now, you have to think about why would Yahweh go all the way out to send an angel to answer this man? Oh, he done stopped praying then? Very few people at the senior citizen home praying, please let me get pregnant next month. I guarantee you, damn it, that is not one of those prayers. Okay? They done stop praying that prayer because they have figured that it ain't going to happen. So he need a special delivery to let him know this one been answered. Your prayers have been answered. What prayer that is, bruh? You over there glowing in the corner. What prayer you talking about? Your wife shall have a child. Whoa, hey, whoa. When I say that again, I know the prayer because I prayed it many a time. You mean you just not hearing that? What kind of service y'all got up there? Y'all got Verizon? What? For y'all signal. Y'all need a signal booster. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just not get that? Go ahead.
Verse 14. And you shall have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great in the sight of the Adonai, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink. And he shall be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from his mother's womb. And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to the Adonai, their Elohim. Mm-hmm. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias.
Now, did his parents not tell him that?
Nope.
See, sometimes there's little key details that sometimes you have to sit down and talk to your parents, and we don't want to do that. We want to talk to our friends, and your friend's dumber than you. You want to ask a dumb knuckle to answer another dumb knuckle. And you know what you get? 2 dumb knuckles. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias. Okay, none of your friends can tell you that. None of them can tell you that. Only the people who was in the room can tell you that. Go ahead.
To turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Adonai.
Now, this is not only the spirit that he's going to walk in. Wait a minute. A charge has been given unto him. So when this comes, okay, your prayer has been answered. No, I had a specific purpose. This is Yahweh. He has a specific purpose for this individual. He couldn't have been born when you prayed it. Yeah. He gonna answer that prayer. Not right now. He has a purpose. And the purpose ain't ready. And we never consider any of that. The purpose has to be ready. Let's go to Matthew chapter 17. See, now this individual is born in the spirit of something. He has to walk in the spirit of this, whether he knows it or not. When something walks in the spirit of something, it just operates that way. He does not even know the spirit that he walks in. It was on him at birth. It was on him before birth. Quite frankly. He didn't get it when he was born. He got it before he was conceived. Matthew chapter 17, and let's read verses 1 through 13.
And after 6 days, Yahshua takes Cephas, Jacob, and Johanan his brother, and brings them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moshe and Elias talking with him.
Now, what do we know about these individuals right here?
They were taken and never died.
These two individuals, we ain't never seen nobody bury them. Moshe was told to go walk up the mountain. Elias, we know, was taken up. Now we see a situation with Moshe and Elias. Those two people will never bury it. So then this individual was given the spirit of a man in heaven. You're going to walk in the spirit of Elias. Whoa. What? Now, his parents was given this. But, maybe they were trying to protect him. Because, it won't go well with you when you playing in the playground with the kid. Hey, bro, I'm in the spirit of Elias. Hey, bro, your kid going to get bullied. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it ain't because, kids don't know when, to throw out something, It ain't the thing to throw out in the kickball game, So maybe that was a protection, or they thought. Go ahead.
Then answered Cephas and said unto Yahshua, Adonai, it is good for us to be here. If you will, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for you, and one for Moshe, and one for Elias. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. Hear you him.
Now, in their mind, what they said was good. Let us build 3 times. Obviously, Yahweh loved them. He brought them, and he's showing us this vision. So then their flesh then kicks in and says, let us make 3 tabernacles. Yahweh is bothered immediately. So you have, on one instance, something that somebody wants to do, and it looks like it's a good thing. The spirit of it didn't meet Yahweh with the same power as what they thought they were delivering it. It didn't translate well. Go ahead.
And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. And Yahshua came and touched them and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man, save Yahshua only. And as they came down from the mountain, Yahshua charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man, until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elias must first come? And Yahshua answered and said unto them,
Now it says, why then say the scribes? These people who study the book say Elias must first come. Now we're going to understand where they get that from. Go ahead.
And Yahshua answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things.
So then wait a minute. So there was a purpose for this individual who has to come before Yahshua. So there are ordered steps in the lives of these individuals. And we think our life is our own and we can do whatever we want, whenever we want to do it, however we want to do it. But at the same time, we say we're servants. Now you show me a servant that can do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and with who they want, and I can show you that I ain't no damn servant. If you can do all that, you ain't the servant, you the boss. Or are we trying to be bosses? Go ahead.
But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them.
Now, wait a minute. He says, I say unto you that Elias has come already. Now, this is where it is profitable unto Yahweh. They don't need to know who he is. Why? So they can go ahead and let every man utter his position. See, some people won't be truly mean if they know who they're talking to. So when they have those things about the secret boss on those TV shows, you have a person just saying that,
It's a nasty business. It's just nasty. I hate the way they handle the money. It just, look, every time I turn around, my check wrong.
such and such. Now, if they knew they were talking to the business owner, those lips wouldn't have been that free. Yahweh operates the same way. No. Don't tell them who that is. Let them keep talking. Go ahead.
Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of Johannes the Baptist.
All right, now they understood who they're talking about. Now let's go to Malachi chapter 4, because it says, the scribes say. Malachi chapter 4, and read verses 4 through 6.
Remember you the law of Moshe my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments.
All right, remember you the law of Moshe my servant. Go ahead.
Behold, I will send you Elias, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh.
So wait a minute. There is a prophecy that Elias is going to come before this great happening, before the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. Go ahead.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
All right, so then the very child that this individual prayed for could not be granted at the time they asked, but was going to be granted later because of the purpose. So now you have a child born. He says here, I will send you Elias. You know what we think? Elias will be resurrected, and then Elias will come. No. He took the spirit of Elias and put it in that baby. Now, there's Elias. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, in the verse 6 is the exact same words that the angel repeated to Zechariah. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers.
They know what they're doing. Don't know what everybody else doing. But they know what they're doing. So when the scribes are talking, they're reading out of the Old Testament. But how many people jump right to the New Testament, not understanding that the happenings are what was prophesied in the Old? But they don't want to deal with the Old unless they're going to talk about tithing. That's the only thing worthy out of the Old Testament to some of these new prosperity people. They only want to talk about tithing, and that happened every third Sunday. Let's go to John chapter 1. I'm telling his brothers, I still ain't got no Movado. I just playing. Hey, that is one of the funniest videos. That is one funny video. You can get a Movado at Sam's. That was funny. But see, look at the things of how we will operate for some evil. What we do, and we don't even understand. Yahweh says, I'm a very jealous Elohim. So he watch. Look at the stuff that you'll do for evil. Look at how far you'll go out. Look at what we do to join a fraternity. We let people beat on us. We let people mistreat us. They got us up 6 o'clock in the morning running barefoot. Got us in the toilet blindfold squeezing bananas.
Take time, teacher.
First time we asked in the word, hey, stop being so angry so fast. Now we got a problem. Whoa. But you let them people mistreat you over and over. You have activated his jealousy. Look at how you went all the way out for them. Okay. And he notices it. He noticed when he asks you to do something and all the excuses pop up. And then somebody else asks you to do something and you jump right to it. Not only do you jump right to it, but you go and do the best. And then you're so oblivious that you call Yahweh to tell him how well you did when you did that. Read, please.
Yohanan chapter 1 and verse 19. And this is the record of Yohanan when the Yehudis sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, Who are you? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Mashiach. And they asked him, What then? Are you Elias? And he says, I am not.
I am not. He walking in the spirit of something and don't even know the spirit of what he's walking in. But herein lies something. What do you need to know verbally? Like we always want to have a conversation. Well, talk to me and tell me. What can they tell you about what they don't know? You can talk all night. But if you can't see the spirit that this individual is moving in, what good is it going to do to have the conversation with you? Are we holding what we hear in higher regards than what we see? Which one of your senses do you give the greater CPU usage in your brain? Which one of those senses? Because at this point, they see the man doing something, but it's not enough to see it. They want to hear him admit it out of his mouth. But what if he don't know? Do you now second guess what you're seeing? Or what if the individual is just a straight liar? You say, hey, are you moving about to deceive me? No, I love you. But the actions say something different. Are you going to pay attention to the words, or are you going to watch the actions? Go ahead.
You know, Elder, sometimes not knowing what spirit we're walking in is our own protection, because some of us would volunteer, man, you know who I am? You know what spirit upon me?
I know about 5 of y'all that would have already done it in the kitchen. Brother, can you take out this tread? Hey, bro, I'm in the spirit and the power of Elias. Hell no, I ain't taking out no tread. Woo! Go ahead, bro.
But not knowing allows people to show you who they are. I've always enjoyed jobs where I'm in a position, but you ain't wearing a tag that say your position. So people can come and be themselves.
Right. I mean, sometimes you can have on a uniform, and people just don't respect the uniform.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
when I wore a suit and tie, every woman downtown Atlanta, because I was 20 years old, fresh out of the bride, they thought I had some money. I was broken under joke. But boy, they paid me attention. I was the best thing since sliced bread. Every office I went into, ooh, here he come, ooh. I got a real job, but then I got on a uniform. But man, I walked past them women, they were like, there he go. Wait a minute. But my check on 0000 swole up. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know that because I didn't look like that. I didn't have no suit, no tie on. So they didn't know brother was making that bread like that. Went and bought me a house right away after getting that job. Then all of a sudden, now see, this is how Yahweh show you something. Then, now everybody want to be my friend again. Who house is this? You know, it's a damn shame in life when I had to get to the point of saying, no, man, this ain't my house. Everybody changed up. When they came to the house and they said, oh, this your house? Then their whole attitude about me changed. Wait a minute. You done went from one level to another level to now another level. I had to start saying that in my brother's house. He just let me stay here. So folk would calm down. But they wasn't paying me no attention when I put on the uniform. So sometimes Yahweh show you something in stages so you can see how people operate. So the same dude in the suit all of a sudden is way more handsome than that same guy in them dicky little khaki pants. Wasn't so attractive in those khakis. Go ahead.
Are you that prophet? And he answered, No. Then said they unto him, Who are you? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What saith you of yourself? He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness.
Right. All I need to know is my job and what it is I'm supposed to be doing. You trying to find out what my title is. I know what my instructions are. But the title part, that wasn't expounded upon me. They want to know the title. And that's all it takes for some people to decide whether or not they're going to respect you or not. What is your title? Some folks shouldn't even come up and ask you what's your name. Because they're really not interested.
Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Oh, my name is such and such.
What's your title?
Oh, that's what they really want to know. Because they're deciding whether or not they need to respect you or not. Go ahead.
Make straight the way of the Adonai, as said the prophet Esaias. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, Why baptize you then, if you be not that Mashiach, nor Elias, neither that prophet?
What's interesting is, how is it that the one bookers don't see this conversation? Because the one booker said,
There ain't no prophet, nobody, no nothing.
Whoa. How are these people who study the book, they have a serious debate going, and it's coming from the difference between what's written in the old and what's happening in the new? How is it that the one bookers don't know that? Because the things concerning him are in the one book that they claim they deal with. Because they call the Old Testament one book. Even though it's many books put together, they call that the one book. Did they just start reading when they got toward the end? Because it's clearly talking about, all right, somebody's going to come. Moshe in the beginning is clearly saying, Yahweh is going to raise up a prophet like unto me. What all did Moshe do? Look at how Moshe left this earth. That tells you the power in which the other individual has to come. But somehow they didn't read that. Go ahead.
Yohanan answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there stands one among you whom you know not. He it is, who coming after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latch I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Beth Arbara, beyond Jordan, where Yohanan was baptizing. The next day Yohanan sees Yahshua coming on to him, and says, Behold the Lamb of Elohim, which takes away the sin of the world.
Right. See, he's focusing on the job at hand, not about who he is and what spirit he's walking in. He's focusing on the job at hand. He ain't walking around, he ain't got no shirt on and say, I'm Elias, bro. Go ahead.
This is he of whom I said, After me comes a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me. And I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel, therefore am I come baptizing with water. And Yohanan bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. And I knew him not, but he that sent me to baptize with water, the same said unto me, Upon whom you shall see the Spirit descending and remaining on him, the same is he which baptized with the Holy Spirit.
So wait a minute, he at some point he received some instruction. At some point he received some instructions. It didn't come from his mom and dad. No. At some point along this journey, all right, now it's time for you to get some specific instructions. Go ahead.
And I saw and bear record that this is the Son of Elohim.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 26. So we have to consider something. That means Yohanan, the entire time of his life, he's walking in the spirit of something without the knowledge of it. So imagine we can be walking in the spirit of something our entire lives and not know that we are walking in the spirit of that thing. Matthew chapter 26, and let's read verses 20 through 25.
Now when the evening was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
All right, so somebody is walking in the spirit of betrayal. It is on them, but they know it not. Go ahead.
And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Adonai, is it I?
So much, in fact, that they're asking who has the spirit of betrayal. They're asking one another. Now, the betrayal spirit is right there in the room. Why they all asking, who is it? Go ahead.
And he answered and said, He that dips his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
Mm-hmm.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, You have said.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, walking in the spirit of deception as, is it I? We swear we can see everything that's going on with us. You can't tell us jack. We think we are absolutely just some fine examples of little bits of righteousness. We think we see everything that's going on with us. Wait a minute. We on two opposite ends of the spectrum. We have a brother walking in the spirit of something that was taken up to heaven. We have another one walking in the spirit of deception, and neither one of them know it. Did you finish that, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 27. See, this is where we look down upon the power of fellowship and what Yahweh can bring to us. See, this alone should help keep us from being that little island because we think we know some stuff. Think about who these brothers were amongst, yet still couldn't see the spirit of their own steps. Matthew 27, and let's read verses 1 through 10.
When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Yahshua to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself, and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders.
So he has already made the agreement. He's done all of this part, given all the information for the betrayal. Once the deed is done, he now understands something. The spirit of betrayal and deception no longer needs him. Now he comes to himself. Go ahead.
Saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood.
Now he understands, wait a minute, the same one who said, is it I, is now openly saying, I have sinned. He knows what he has done. Or what the spirit he was entertaining has led him to do. Go ahead.
And they said, What is that to us? See you to that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple.
Now he don't even want the money that he got from doing the betrayal. So who helped him in the negotiating stage? That deceptive betrayal spirit was doing the negotiating. Now that the spirit no longer needs him and withdraws to go, because at this point, everybody know you're a betrayer. So, I mean, I can't do no more betrayal in you, with you. I mean, you are of no longer use. That spirit has to go somewhere else. It can't achieve the same level of deception and betrayal once everybody knows it's a betrayer. The part that deception has is stealth. This is how it's able to operate. But once it is brought to light what it is, it can't get close enough to those people to betray again. The spirit no longer needs that body. It now needs to inhabit another being so that it can do what it does, because it is the spirit of deception and betrayal. So now everybody in the room is looking at this individual, but the spirit of deception and betrayal has left them and is now abiding with somebody else on the other side of the room. But everywhere this person walk, you watching them. Every time they go to the bathroom, you counting, was it number one or number two? How long they stay in there? Where they going, where they come from? The spirit of betrayal and deception is no longer with them. Just like it has left him. And now, he no longer wants the money that the evil spirit negotiated for him. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, you're right about it. Couldn't be conducive to continue to use him, because we can see what happened to the name when they go Yehudis, not
Iscariot. You got to mention that. There's no more use that the evil spirit can have out of that individual. So there can be no stealth with him. Go ahead.
And departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, "It is not lawful to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood." And they took counsel, and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, "And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Adonai appointed me."
All right. Now, Yehudis entertained the spirit of deception and betrayal. When someone entertains the spirit of something, that spirit then gives them an ability that they do not have on their own. The spirit of deception was so strong in Yehudis that as he was deceiving, he was also being deceived by the same spirit. I want you to read 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 13. It's on the next graphic.
But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived.
So the entire time Yehudis is working to deceive the apostles, the other disciples rather, he's also being deceived. The spirit of deception is so strong that it even overtakes him. He's walking in the spirit of something that is so strong that spirit overtakes him while he's overtaking other people with the deception. None of those other disciples were able to figure out that it was him. He was not even able to figure out that it was him until after he did it. That's how strong the spirit of what he walked in was. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 22. See, your tribal chart ain't going to stop none of this right here. All these people got a tribal banner. First Kings chapter 22, and I want you to read verses 20 through 23.
And the Adonai said, verse 20, and Yahweh said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
Uh-huh.
And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit, and stood before Yahweh, and said, I'll persuade him.
Now, there is a spirit that comes before and says, I will persuade him. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto him, wherewith?
How you going to do it? Go ahead.
And he said, I'll go forth, and I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
Wait a minute. So we've already seen how powerful a spirit can be. But now we're talking about a lying spirit. If that lying spirit can be so strong, folks can be lying and not even able to comprehend that they lying. Or why they lying. Go ahead.
And he said, you shall persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, Yahweh has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these your prophets, and Yahweh has spoken evil concerning you.
Now, pause for a second. It said a lying spirit. But the lying spirit was able to go in the mouth of all the prophets. All the individuals who are going to lead. So it's going to sound unified. It says, who shall go and persuade this individual that he may go and fall? Okay, so the lying spirit said, I'll go. Now, it says, let everything be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Wait a minute. He's going to get all of his witnesses from the same lying spirit. Because the lying spirit is going to have that one. All of them are going to say, yeah, go up and go to war. This is why you have to try and walk as best as you can in dealing with Yahweh's spirit. Because this is deep. You got to understand, these are people who have shown themselves that they were servants, and to make sure that this individual goes and falls, this was put in play. And put in play by multiple instances. If that don't frighten you, I don't know what will. Let's go to 1 John chapter 4. First John chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 6.
Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Elohim, because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
So, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Elohim. Go ahead.
Hereby know you the spirit of Elohim. Every spirit that confess that Yahshua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Elohim. And every spirit that confess not that Yahshua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And this is the spirit of Antichrist. Wherefore you have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. You are of Elohim, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hears them. We are of Elohim. He that knows Elohim hears us. He that is not of Elohim hears not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error.
All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Excuse me. Matthew 24, and we're going to read verses 15 through 28.
When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso reads, let him understand.
Now, we, of course, this is where everybody say, you know, hey, when the Pope go over, the abomination of desolation is already standing in the land and been in the land. Look at, if you can't see the destruction that's happening right now, I'm talking about destroying buildings that ain't got nothing to do with no war, ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Sending people to hospitals and then bomb the hospital that you just sent the people in. And I'm sorry, but they look just like the Pope. I can't tell the difference to them. Matter of fact, if they switch hats, I think I be talking to the wrong one. Go ahead.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray you that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Go ahead.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is the Mashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Mashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
If it were possible, they would be able to deceive the very elect. That's how powerful this spirit of deception is that they have. I mean, so much that you can be deep in your word, deep in your study, and you were just a hair away from deception. Now, that's a strong spirit of deception right there. That the very elect would almost be deceived. Go ahead.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning comes out of the east and shines even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
All right, that's as far as I want to go. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. So when these great wonders, now we have individuals who could be walking in the spirit of deception. But what happened when we have the earth in general under a heavy spirit of deception? Now, if we have problems with individuals who have gifts of deception. Revelation 13. And let's read verses 11 through 18.
And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
So he has the power to make fire come down out of heaven. This is an amazing power of deception. When we see great miracles, when we see great things happen, it has a tendency to really affect how we move. Go ahead.
And deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
So the power of deception will be so great that they will be able to create an image, and people are going to go after that no matter what we have read. As it is written now right before, if it were possible, they would even deceive the very elect. That's how powerful this spirit of deception is. That has to be pretty powerful. Go ahead, brother.
Elder, when you were talking earlier about, knowing what spirit's on you or not having the knowledge of what spirit, we can go back to 1 Kings chapter 22 and 24. It says, but Zedekiah the son of Kenaiah went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek and said, which way went the spirit of Yahweh from me to speak unto you?
Yeah.
This man think he in control of the spirit.
He said, I got it. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3. First Peter chapter 3, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
This second letter, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
Where you at, brother? Oh. First Peter chapter 3.
Second Peter.
You on the wrong Peter?
Yes, sir. All right. First Peter chapter 3. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they yet behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Whose adorning, let it not be that of outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Elohim of great price. For after this manner in the old time the holy women also, who trusted in Elohim, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him master, whose daughters you are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Finally, be you all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil or railing for railings, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that you are thereunto called, that you should inherit a blessing. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him speak peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Adonai are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Adonai is against them that do evil. And who is he that will harm you, if you be followers of that which is good? But and if you suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are you. And be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. But sanctify the Adonai Elohim in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear.
All right, where you at?
Verse 16.
I want to go jump to back to 7 for a second.
Verse 7.
Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So here is a interesting part here. All right? Dwell with them according to knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge of how that person operates. Otherwise, if you deal with that incorrectly, your prayers may be hindered. Go ahead.
Verse
Jump back to
16.
16.
Having a good conscience, that, whereas they speak evil of you, as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in the Mashiach. For it is better, if the will of Elohim be so, that you suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. For Yahshua also has once suffered for our sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to Elohim, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, which sometimes were disobedient, when once the long-suffering of Elohim in the days of Noah, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls were saved by water. The like figure whereunto even baptism does also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience towards Elohim, by the resurrection of Yahshua HaMashiach, who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of Elohim, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him.
Now, it's one thing to look at this when we put this in the perspective of how we operate. We may not consider spirits when this happens. But let us keep reading. Let's go to Luke chapter 11. Because we can be operating and dealing with one another in the power of some form of spirit. Luke 11, and we're going to read verses 5 through 13.
Verse 5. And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves. For a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. And he from within shall answer and say, Trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give you. I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needs.
Because he holds that individual dear, even though it is something that may be out of the way, they will go out of their way for somebody who means something to them. Now, we may not understand that we're operating in the spirit of care right there. Okay? But knowing that Yahweh is a jealous Elohim, what happens when he sees that spirit of care in one place, but does not see that spirit of care in another place? Now you've activated his jealousy, because he watched how you moved concerning another situation and how much care you put into it. Keep reading.
And I say unto you, Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asks receives, and he that seeks finds, and to him that knocks it shall be opened. If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he for a fish give him a serpent?
Right. And you know, we'll go all out for our kids. Why is this question even there? If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give him a stone? He asked you for bread. What you gave him a rock for? Now see, we'll go all out when it comes down to pleasing certain ones. And Yahweh is watching and he's paying attention. So if he asked one thing of you, why would you do something else? You wouldn't do that if it was concerning your own. And he proves that by stepping back and watching how you operate. Go ahead.
Or if he shall ask an egg, will he offer him a scorpion? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children.
You then, being evil, know how to give good gifts. You don't give good gifts because you were good. Go ahead.
How much more shall your heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to them that ask him?
All right. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12, and read verses 14 and 15 for me.
Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Adonai.
Now, follow peace with all men. Now, sometimes this may not be possible because there may be some entities that are walking in the spirit of anger and aggression, and ain't nothing you're going to be able to do to change that. And the more you try to engage and talk into that, the more the angry and bitter spirit produces itself. So sometimes you just got to close your mouth. Go ahead.
Sometimes you stick around long enough, it done jumped on you and you don't realize.
Oh, we about to get right there. we about to get right there. Keep reading.
Verse 15, looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of Elohim, lest any root of bitterness
There you
spring
go
up
right there. There you go right there. See, that's it. See, the root of bitterness. See, when you talk about a root of bitterness, the root is hidden. You understand? But what it produces is not. So sometimes you're looking at the product of bitterness and you think that that is the issue. So you try to treat what came up out of the ground. It was the root that brought forth what came out of the ground. So you can spray weed killer on the part that you saw. You didn't take care of the root though. So guess what's gonna happen in another couple of days? It's gonna be right back there again. Why? Because you didn't deal with the root. To deal with the root is not pretty. Why? Because you got to go ahead and dig down in the earth. Now, wait a minute. If the root is in us, that means we got to unearth some stuff. That means we got to go ahead and talk about some things we don't want to talk about. That means we got to go ahead and reveal some things that's hidden under that dirt. And we don't want to reveal and we don't want to talk. We want to talk when we benefit. But we don't want to talk when it's about us. Now, see, now when it's time to dig and unearth, now we got to get to that root of bitterness that is causing something else to spring up. So you can keep dealing with these symptoms, but you have not dealt with the root. Now, one of the things that you just said right there, the product of angry energy. when you realize how your Elohim is dealing with you, you know that he's directing you. Every time I turn around and I let something or somebody get me so angry and bothered, I look up and every person that I encounter at work has the same angry spirit that I have. And the only way for me to stop all of those people from coming at me angry is to get rid of mine. So it gets to that point. And see, folks think that this is about them when they're like, well, you know, I want to talk. No, I don't want to talk. I need to get this off me. Because everything at my job is now coming at me with the same power and aggression that I have. I don't want to talk. I need for this to go. It's deep when you got somebody 8 states over and they just pick up the phone nasty. Damn. The spirit done went to Kansas. Damn, Dorothy. How you get here? Right. Right. That angry energy. Now think about it. You have the power to create how something then deals with you. Okay. Now what you gonna do with that power? Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it. Let's go to Colossians chapter 3. You know, one of those things about when it was talking about even when the dreams of Nebuchadnezzar and when those things happen more than once, it was establishing it. Mm-hmm. You know when Yahweh's dealing with you when that same situation presented itself months apart and they happened the exact same way. This is how I know, okay, I have the power to create my own energy. Because it happened exactly the same way. I get angry, everything then comes at me is angry. Everything. Until I release, I am controlling the power of things that are not in the room that I'm in. And until I get it down, nothing but anger and aggression comes at me. And I'm taking on clients from different states. So damn it, Toto pissed off. I got somebody from Connecticut pissed off. I got everybody pissed off until I get me, and everything after it goes right smooth. Now, why would Yahweh show me that? So it's not about what really happened to tick me off. It's about how am I going to handle what ticked me off? Because at the end of the day, the people who tick you off is probably going to still tick you off because they're going to be who they are. Mm-hmm. You can't change those people. By now, we have decided that we are going to be the people who we are. So if something pissed you off last Saturday, they're going to do it 2 Saturdays from now. Because it's just in them who they are. You have to learn how to deal with how are you going to operate so that it does not bother you the way that it does. You can't go changing other people so that you can be comfortable. You have to change you so you can be comfortable. Go ahead, brother. Colossians chapter 3. Let's read verses 18 through 25.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
Now, nobody like that word right there. Now, matter of fact, if you want to start a fight in a black house, use the word submit or fetch. The two of those words, I hope your night bag is packed. You need to be ready when you say either of those words. You say fetch, you damn sure better be talking to Scruffy. You understand? All right? And submit, you better had, said some other stuff before you say submit. See, you can't just jump right out there with that word right there. It's got to be some soft music, some candles. You got to lead up to this word right here. How many letters they got? This is a 4-letter word. I don't care how many letters in it. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
As it is fit in the Adonai. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them.
What would cause a man to be bitter against his wife? The wife that he loves, what would cause him to be bitter? See, it says, root of bitterness spring up and many be defiled. So now what happens then? That means there's a spirit of bitterness. Now we can be walking in the spirit of something that now gives us power that we don't have on our own. Go ahead.
Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Adonai. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged.
Wait a minute. If you are walking in bitterness, then you may be provoking your children unto anger. Why? Because you are producing the same spirit that you are putting out. So now if you are walking in bitterness, you are producing anger inside of them, thereby now provoking them unto wrath. Because now they're going to operate in the same spirit that they see you operate in. Somebody say one word to you, you go off. So now the kids start to operate in the same spirit of what they see. Now you have provoked them unto wrath. Go ahead.
Verse 20, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Adonai. Why would it be well-pleasing to him? Because he know he left you an example. Because he was obedient unto his father in all things.
Right. Go ahead.
Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing Elohim. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Adonai and not unto men, knowing that of the Adonai you shall receive the reward of inheritance, for you serve the Adonai Elohim. But he that does wrong shall receive for the wrong which he has done, and there is no respect of persons.
Now, inheritance is a interesting part here. Now, anger is for the moment. Bitterness is anger that never completely subsided. Bitterness can last years, decades, and even generations. Bitterness can be passed down as an evil inheritance unto unknowing offspring who will unknowingly walk, talk, and operate in bitterness that was handed to them in their infancy. Now, let's say one walked in the spirit of, whatever it is, fill in the blank, and you changed. You cannot get mad at people for not automatically believing that you are not walking in that same spirit. Change has to happen in consistency before it is believed. And if you travel the same paths in right as you did in wrong, we can clearly see what type of issue this may cause. This causes us to understand why Yahweh sent Saul away from Israel, the very people he persecuted. They could not believe that Saul had changed. He had the power to persecute them, and he did it in his zeal. But Yahweh had a job for him, but he had to also relocate him because they would not believe that he was no longer walking in the spirit of persecution. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 3. Second Samuel chapter 3, and let's read verses 21 through 30.
And Abner said unto David, I'll arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my master the king, that they may make a league with you, and that you may reign over all that their heart desires. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace.
All right, so we're talking about at this point, the war is about to be over. All right, now there's the negotiation of peace. Go ahead.
When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he has sent him away, and he is gone in peace. Then Joab came to the king and said, What have you done? Behold, Abner came unto you. Why is it that you have sent him away? And he's quite gone.
All right. You know, he is definitely not liking the situation that this man has gone in peace, because he, of course, is not about this peace accord. He has been operating in the spirit of war, and the spirit of war is all over him. Go ahead.
You know of Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive you, and to know you're going out and you're coming in, and to know all that you does. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah. But David knew it not.
So the first thing, because Joab is still in the spirit of war, he then also understands what is also connected with the spirit of war. It is all about deception, about making somebody believe you're going to go left when you're really going to go right. So he's operating in the deception even on his own team. He tries to get the king to change his view because he still has the spirit of war, and he need to get him some get back for some other stuff that happens. So he first tries to deceive the king. That didn't work, so now he's going about his own deception because the spirit of war has consumed him. He don't want any peace treaty. Go ahead.
And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the fifth rib.
Right. Now, see, this other man believed, because he has talked to the king, that, okay, this individual is on the same page. But he used deception to get him back, to get him by himself, so that he could kill him. Go ahead.
That he died for the blood of Asahel, his brother.
Now, this is the get back that he had to get. Now, his brother was killed by this man in the war. Not personally, in the war. And he gave his brother an opportunity. Stop following me. Go over there and get one of the young men. Stop following me. He said, how shall I be able to look your brother in the eyes? Now, he should have known when he pulled him quietly, hey, he coming to kill you. Go ahead.
And afterward, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before Yahweh forever from the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house. And let there not fail from the house of Joab one that has an issue, or that is a leper, or that leans on a staff, or that falls on the sword, or that lacks bread.
Now, hold on. Understand what kind of spirit every last one of his offspring are going to be in right now. Okay, understand something. He has done something after the peace treaty. Once the war is over, it is over. Everything that happens after that is murder. Verse 29, let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house. Let there not fail from the house of Joab one that has an issue. Wait a minute. They have the warring spirit, and now they have all of this punishment. It is now going to follow generations. Or that is a leper, or that leans on a staff, or that falls on a sword, or that lacks bread. Now, wait a minute. This spirit then is on the offspring of this individual, right? Now, this is why we have to be careful on what we deal with. So now, a woman goes out in the world and she sees a nice, handsome man and she said, oh my God, he's so fine. I want to get with him. Okay, but he wanted the offspring. Guess what you just married into? Guess what's going to happen all the days of your life? But he's still fine though. Okay. But he walking in the spirit of punishment. Go ahead.
So Joab and Abishai his brother slew Abner, because he had slain their brother Asahel at Gibeon in the battle. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, rend your clothes and gird you with sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And King David himself followed the bier.
So we see then that this brother operated in an angry and bitter spirit, and it directed some things and has now affected his lineage. Joab had to get some get back for his brother's death. In this case, anger has turned into bitterness. Even though the war is over, Joab still has a bitter spirit concerning past loss. Sometimes the warrior must be separated from the people you want to have peace with. The warrior has war in their veins, and they war as second nature, and it requires very little thought. And you need them to stay a warrior, so you must shield them from any other individuals, because they just can't stop warring. This bothered David, because he realizes that this has happened under his leadership. Now, when any entity, now this Joab has been in a war, you have to understand how long this war has been going on. When any entity is in a habitat for a certain amount of time, the spirit of how it moves is altered to that is needed to survive in that particular environment. The stress of that environment is sometimes so strong that even when the habitat is no longer stressful, the entity that now suffers from post-traumatic stress is unable to alter its operations back to pre-stress mode. Let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. See, now because he has operated in war so long, he automatically goes in war mode without thought. Strategy is just what he does. So he automatically put together a strategy to keep on warring. Ephesians chapter 4, and let's start that at verse 23.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
To be renewed in the spirit of your mind, right when there's a peace treaty, you have to get your mind right. You have walked in the spirit of war for decades. You have to get your mind renewed so that you can walk in a different spirit. Now, you had to walk in the spirit of war in your previous habitat. That was what kept you able to survive. But once the peace treaty is signed, there's a different habitat. So are you accidentally still moving as a warrior? Do you even notice it when you do it? When you hear certain sounds, do you automatically just hit the deck? Anybody come home from work and find you snaking in the living room? What the hell are you doing? Hey, stress is real. But we do the same things in dealing with one another, whereby We have gone through stressful things and we don't know or haven't assessed what our triggers are. And then we're operating in those same things and got people around us operating in ways that are triggering us. Now, you got to be able to communicate with those people what those triggers are. Say, hey, in the past warring state, you would do this constantly. Now you're doing this, but you want me to react in a non-defensive way. But the spirit of war goes back into me when I see you do that. Because you did this the whole time you were warring. But you got to be able to recognize that about yourself so you can help the people around you. What causes you to go in that mode? Go ahead.
And that you put on the new man, which after Elohim is created in righteousness and true holiness.
Let me tell you something. It says put on the new man, and that sounds so easy. Let me tell you something. You will spend the rest of your life trying to put on this new man. Mm-hmm. It's like trying to put on some pants and your leg just keep moving, the pants keep moving, and you running trying to get your leg in there, and you just got one in, you just got one leg in. Oh, you gonna work to put on this new man. Go ahead.
Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be you angry and sin not.
Anger is one of the emotions that Yahweh himself said he has. How you gonna not have anger? But what do you let it do? What does anger produce? If it does not subside, it produces bitterness. When anger is not subsided and it produces bitterness, bitterness moves nations. Bitterness can be handed down to other individuals. They won't even understand what it is. But then that will be the power and the spirit of what we are walking in. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, in verse 25, the first thing it says, wherefore putting away lying, that's after dealing with the new man. Then it says the first step of dealing with the new man is put away lying. And like you're talking about, you know, that warring spirit or whatever spirit it is, as long as you're concealing that spirit and not explaining to people this spirit, it's a lie.
Right. It is strategy. Hiding is a strategy of war. Lying is hiding. Lying is deceiving an individual to believe that you are at peace when you are not. Believing or trying to portray that you are at one point in your mindset when you're at another. It is still war. See, this is what happened when the attributes of how you're moving is the same as when you were in war. How does anybody else react? They react in a defensive way because those are the same moves that they saw when you were warring. Go ahead.
Be you angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your anger. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more.
Wait a minute. Neither let the sun go down upon your wrath. We let the sun go down, come up, go around, go on vacation. The sun done left for a whole season. Come back, we still angry. Why? Because now it has turned to bitterness. It's not anger anymore. It has been resurrected and it has changed forms. It is stronger than anger now. It is bitter. Go ahead.
Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needs. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
Now, first thing we do, now we're dealing with the product of anger, because now the product of anger bring forth corrupt communication. Because see, now we're trying to win at a debate. So now anger has brought forth corrupt communication. Now what spirit are we walking in at that point? I don't want to hear nothing about your tribal breakdown. I don't want to hear nothing about your tribe banner. What spirit are you walking in at that point? Go ahead.
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
So the thing that proceeds out of your mouth, does it cause edification, or did it just bring forth more hell? Who was edified by the words that proceeded out of your mouth? Go ahead.
And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim.
Wait a minute now. If the Holy Spirit has put together something for a purpose, when we go against that, we are grieving the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, no, I put this together for a purpose. What are you doing? And we can be going about our own way, believing that we are doing what we think is best. What the brother said, let us make here 3 tabernacles. Piss Yahweh off immediately. Go ahead.
Whereby we are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
Let all bitterness. Wait a minute. If we're going to let the bitterness go, then that means we got to get to the root. See, there's one thing about reading this. There's one thing about entreating the angel to come in and sup with us and us with him. It's another thing opening up your life and your heart to let the bitterness be dug up, because you can't deal with it without digging it up. Our problem is we want to keep dealing with something without digging it up. You cannot deal with a bitter root without going under the surface. If you keep dealing on top of the surface, I can guarantee you, you will never get that root. You will just keep getting what sprouts from the root, but you will never get the root. Thereby, it will always reappear. Go ahead.
And be you kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you.
Even as Yahshua has forgiven you. Do we have that kind of power in us? Or does bitterness cause us to forsake the power of how Yahweh and Yahshua has dealt with us? The same forgiveness that he's given us, do we have in it? Do we have in us what it takes to offer that to our brother and sister? Or are you the only one who deserves that? Does no one else deserve that? Just you? Nobody else on the earth deserves to have that except you. You might want to pause then and see what power and spirit you are walking in, if that's what you believe. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.